Good afternoon. Welcome to Building Boston and Beyond. I am your host, Lydia Rivera. We are underway with this unique program to showcase the many projects, programs, transportation services, and educational forums underway in and around Boston, and the organizations, leaders, businesses steering them. As we know, it is critically important to engage community participation through inclusion and transparency. Providing residents with information on the growth of their community and the positive impact information can have on their quality of life is immeasurable. To educate ourselves, and when we can, others by sharing information on services, public transportation, construction projects, and infrastructure improvements builds stronger community. Today it's about transportation. We'll kick off the first segment with water transportation and talk with Principal and General Manager of Boston Harbor Cruises, Allison Nolan, who will share all the services provided by BHC and how you, our viewers, can join in on the fun. Our second segment will welcome Celia Blue, President of the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials, to share info on the national conference set to kick off here in Boston, July 11th through the 14th. With that said, welcome, Allison. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
I really
Thank
appreciate
you for having
it.
me. My pleasure.
So I brought you here because all I'm saying, you have some great commercials out there promoting Boston Harbor Cruises.
Sure.
And I went to your website and I was looking at all the opportunities and services you provide. So let's just start with what goes on there. What do you provide? What do you offer?
Yeah, Boston Harbor Cruises, interestingly enough, and a lot of credit goes to the City of Boston, we're the largest privately owned passenger vessel fleet in the entire country. So that means we have 48 vessels that we own and operate, and many of them we operate year-round, which we'll talk about for the MBTA, and those are real transportation boats. But all the marketing that you're seeing, the TV commercials and the outside advertising, that's all pushing our summer season. So we call those our excursions, and that's the seasonal work. We make probably half of our total revenues just in this 3-month period. We bring on a lot of additional employees. And these are all about having fun out on the water.
Mm-hmm. Like the, is it the Codzilla that you have?
Yeah, Codzilla is probably our most noticeable product. You know, everybody knows the name Codzilla, and the boat has great graphics with the big teeth on it. And Codzilla we built in 2009. And what's interesting about Codzilla is it's sort of like a roller coaster on the water. So it's meant to get on, have fun, and it's sort of a more light complement to some of our history cruises and nature-inspired cruises. So Codzilla is all about having fun.
Okay, know what I really am impressed with? The islands, and you have trips to the islands. I mean, I grew up in Boston, and I've probably been there a handful of times, not as much as I should. Now, how's ridership going to the islands?
Ridership going to the islands has been great, and we've seen a big boom, probably about 120,000 people a year we take out to the islands. And if you haven't been out to the islands recently, you should get out and go, because a lot has been done infrastructure-wise. So there's 3 main gateway islands, we call them. So George's Island is the one that everybody went to when they went on the school field trip. It has a historic fort. Spectacle Island is the island that was made out of landfill from the Big Dig, and it's the closest to Boston with the best views of the city, and it's really like a great urban park. And then Peddix Island they recently opened, which has the longest amount of walking trails and camping, and also a beautifully restored church on Peddix. So it's great. It's done in partnership with the National Park Service, so it's actually a state and national park area. And also DCR and the City of Boston are involved. So it's really guaranteed to be a quality experience.
You have some great partners that you work with. As you said, the City of Boston, and then DCR, the Department of Conservation and Recreation. Now, when we talk about marketing, obviously, you must see a lot of tourists on those boats going to the islands.
We do,
So you do
yes.
market to them as well.
Yeah, we have a really robust marketing program. It's about under $2 million a year that we spend across all media, but it's very important because we carry 2.5 million people a year, and they're all individual buyers. So it's very important that within this very short window, we have to make enough revenue to carry us through the winter and reinvest back into the fleet. That we really do well between Memorial Day and Labor Day. It's very important.
Right, and while that is very important also too, what I know from my experience working in transportation, the service you provide to the everyday, obviously, resident and rider from areas that can use public transportation, water transportation, Hingham, the Quincy, the Hull, and the Charlestown boat. I mean, that's really the important, I think, aspect and avenue that people use to get into town.
Yeah, I think what people might not know is as much about is water transportation here in Massachusetts Bay. So all year round, there's large contracts in partnership with the MBTA, and those are coming out of Hingham and Hull and Charlestown. And those carry about 5,500 to 6,000 people a day into Boston in water transportation. And then seasonally, both the cities of Salem and Lynn have seasonal water transportation ferry routes coming into downtown. So just under 6,000 people a day coming into to work by the water.
Now you can see, obviously, the increase in ridership, even over the past, I think, 3 to 5 years, correct?
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a wonderful way to get into work. So if you're coming in from Hingham or Hull, from the Hingham Shipyard to downtown Boston is 35 minutes, which is much better than sitting in traffic on Route 3 and 93. It gives you a chance to work on your laptop or read the paper. And most of the commuters like to enjoy a beer on the ride home, especially on Friday nights. So as soon as you're on the boat, you're relaxed and you're ready to get home.
That's wonderful. And when I realize that water transportation is in your family, but what do you must talk about it. What do you see as water transportation growing, and the future of water transportation in Boston, and from what you've seen?
So for being a waterfront community, Boston doesn't have as much water transportation as some of its comparable areas. And if you look around the country and look around the world in places like New York and Washington State, there's really robust water transportation systems that integrate seamlessly into other forms of intermodal once you're off the water. And Massachusetts has some of the most beautiful communities along the water, but they can be difficult to get to and from Boston via car. So there's an incredible amount of opportunity to expand water transportation. But most importantly, I think in the next sort of big step for water transportation is what's happening in South Boston and East Boston. So there's definitely a transportation issue in the growing South Boston, and that's only going to become more densely populated with residents and business people. And all of that development happening along the waterfront, there's a lot of opportunities for ferries to be part of that transportation solution and really help out the component in South Boston and East Boston after that.
Now, I don't know if this is public yet. Are you under discussion? Are you really thinking about this hard?
Nothing's official, but we're watching it very closely. And a very exciting project that's happening for us in water transportation is the Converse building, which is happening on Lovejoy Wharf, which is adjacent to North Station. So Lovejoy Wharf's completion and possible activation could link North Shore commuter rail to jobs in South Boston, which is currently a bit of a challenge. So if you're coming in from the north and working in the new Innovation District, you might be able to connect there via ferry.
And you're prepared to do that?
Yes, it's an exciting proposition.
Yeah,
it really is.
And your organization, I mean, it's obviously family born, and is it your cousin that's your partner?
So it's a family business, and we'll be 90 years old next year, and I'm fourth generation. So right now, the third and the fourth generations are managing the business. So my father and his brother Chris, and my cousin Patrick and I.
That's wonderful. That's really good. Now, with the summer upon us, do you offer any excursions to our viewers that you think they should take advantage of? I know we talked about the islands. What's the Cultural Connector?
The Cultural Connector is an interesting new transportation route, and what it does is it connects Boston's cultural institutions that are along the water for an affordable rate. So it connects the New England Aquarium, the Children's Museum, the ICA, and via the MBTA Charlestown Ferry, it also connects you over to the USS Constitution Museum in the Charlestown Navy Yard. So it's $5 per person, one way, or for $15 you can stay on and have an all-day on-off ticket to go to those destinations.
And what's your website, just so our viewers will?
Oh, it's bostonharborcruises.com.
That's great. Yeah, and also too, the water taxi. Now, how's the business on the water taxi?
Water taxi's great.
Really?
And water taxi is one of those uniquely Boston things. So there's water taxis.
See, we just like to take cabs, and we'll even do it on the water.
It's so unique. There's water taxis in other parts of the country, but they're really scheduled ferry routes. Boston has the only 100% on-call water taxi system. So there's 22 docks in the Inner Harbor, and you just call us on the phone, and we come and pick you up and take you to any one of those other 22 docks for $12, including the airport.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. And the Provincetown boat.
Yep.
Yeah, it's full.
Yeah, the Provincetown is the largest and fastest passenger catamaran in the U.S., the Salacia, and she gets you from Boston to the tip of Cape Cod in just 90 minutes. So it makes taking a day trip to the Cape really easy and relaxing. You get on the boat at 9, and you can be off the boat here in Boston at 5:30, having spent a full day at the beach or down in P-Town shopping.
That's great. So we're ready to wrap up. Just anything else that you want to share with our viewers that you think they'd want to know?
The other great summer takes is a day trip up to Salem on the Salem Ferry, and then going out to see the whales with us in the New England Aquarium on the New England Aquarium Whale Watch.
That's right. Yeah, the Whale Watch. Thank you so much.
Oh, my
Thank you
pleasure.
so much, and I'd love to have you again in the fall. We can talk more about water transportation because, again, as we were talking earlier, I think it's really the future of carrying not only people to work, but again, the recreation, especially with what's going on this summer. So stay tuned. Up next is COMTO President Celia Blue to highlight the organization's national conference set to kick off this weekend, Saturday, July 11th through the 14th. Welcome back to Building Boston and Beyond. Our next guest is Celia Blue, President of the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials. She is here with her colleague, Rose Yates, Assistant General Manager of MBTA Communications and Marketing. We're going to talk about the conference, which is headed this way this weekend, Saturday, July 11th through the 14th. Thank you so much for coming, Celia.
Thank you for having me back again, and thanks for including us.
Oh, absolutely, and thanks for attending, Rose.
Happy to be here.
We're just here to get a brief update. I mean, this is upon us this weekend. This is a national conference. We have 44 other, obviously, chapters around the country that are COMTO, and I feel that Boston was selected as a host, and this is very important to us. So let's just talk about what's going to go on and
Sure.
how we're going to host.
We'll basically ping back and forth with each other. So as you mentioned, 44, right? So COMTO's been around for 44 years, and we have 39 chapters. Very excited to be in Boston to really showcase Boston as the diverse city that it's becoming. And nice for us to showcase certainly transportation, the multimodal effort that we have here underway in the state. So it's really an exciting time for us. We have a lot of things planned from the 11th to the 14th. We have a signature day at Harvard University. And the great thing about this conference is everyone should be able to get something. If you're a youth, we have a youth symposium program. We have the college intern program. We have emerging leaders, seasoned professional, and executives as well that will be partaking in the conference starting on Saturday at Harvard University. And then we go into the other days of programming for 3 days. So,
Right, let's share with our viewers the mission of COMTO. So why is this so important? It's
right.
been
So, you know, COMTO is about leveling the playing field in the transportation industries for minorities, communities of color, and businesses, and particularly women businesses as well. And so it's always important to be able, we're actually the only multimodal organization in the transportation industry representing those specific groups. So it's really important for us to be around, to be relevant. We're very relevant. I can think there's always room for improvement, and that gives us an opportunity to be able to showcase the many people that are involved in the organization across the country that run major transportation systems.
Right.
And I don't know if you said it at the top of the show, but COMTO is Conference of Minority Transportation Officials. So, you know, we're a big transportation industry in this town, and there are hundreds of people from Boston going to the conference. I think we have about 700 people now signed up for the conference. So
Nationally.
Nationally, yeah. So very soon the Boston will be busting with, you know, transportation professionals coming to town to see, you know, some and hear some cutting edge things.
Right. And I heard there's a golf tournament on Saturday. It kicks off Friday into Saturday, or Saturday officially?
So I think Friday night is a bit, we have sort of the golf parent party. We have the golf tournament here, and we're partnering. I should really give kudos to the mayor's office, who's been fantastic with working with us. And as you know, Mary Walsh and Secretary Pollack are both honorary chairs of our conference, and we're really thrilled with the support that we've received. And the golf tournament is at Franklin Park, our very own Franklin Park. and that benefits our scholarship programs. So once the expenses are paid, it goes right into scholarship programs for our high school students that we give out every year.
It appears when I looked at the booklet, you really have a really well thought of but tight program to do something like this in 4 days, which I think is important, and I think that it'll be effective, being that while the golf tournament's going on, then other people that may be interested in doing the symposium at Harvard.
Right, it's going to be a great day and a busy day, and then once the conference kicks off, we have 4 tracks that we do, and it basically covers everyone from middle management and up. And what I love about the conference is it really, it reaches out to the high school kids, so we're really sort of growing and positioning that next level, that next generation of transportation leaders. And they get to interact with the current level of transportation leaders. So I think it's very unique in that sense.
And this is the Park Plaza?
Yeah.
Hotel?
Right, so it's at the Park Plaza Hotel, so what we say is you're gonna come and definitely there'll be tons of networking events, programming, and also fun. So,
Yes.
that's important.
You know where the plaza is. You can walk to the public garden. There's a lot of great things to do, and so I hope people do find a little bit of time to see our beautiful city.
I mean, I think it's important to demonstrate and to showcase our viewers and just the public that look at the people that are attending. You have Transportation Secretary Fox attending. You have the mayor's support. You have Transportation Chairman Thomas McGee. You just have a lot of just transportation leaders in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
That
Secretary
really care,
Pollock is going to be there.
Right.
that really care about this conference.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about the tracks that promote diversity, you're doing there's a whole program on disadvantaged business enterprises, which is important.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And we have something for emerging leaders, something for CEOs to interact with other CEOs. There's a little bit of everything in there.
And what was the last time Compton was here? Because you need to be chosen. You don't just say, "Oh, we'll do it." I mean,
Right.
it's
you have to
an
compete
important
with
proposal.
the other chapters, and you also have to have the support for it.
Yeah.
I think last time our current chairman, Robert Prince, who was previously the general manager of the T, that was the last time the conference was here, and it was about, was it 18, 15?
Yeah, I feel like it was around 2000.
So definitely
Oh,
at
okay.
least 15 plus years ago that
Yeah.
we had the conference here last time. So it's really a big deal to be here. And we're really thrilled to be able to host the conference and to showcase Boston and Massachusetts.
Right, and in addition to like the panels and then the fun stuff, you're also allowing them to see the behind the scenes at the MBTA as well. There's
Yeah.
other people from other
Right.
authorities across the country.
Right, so there's technical tours as well. So, when we say there's everything, there's a little bit for everyone. You get to have the technical piece to learn more about transportation, as well as, the workshops, and as well as some of those signature networking events, receptions that we have throughout the conference.
What I found, what popped out to me in the program was Monday's panel discussion in the morning, only because it's local and I'm local. And you really have some heavy hitters and people that we're gonna really put them, not in a corner, but put them to the test of what can we do even regarding the transportation issues that not only face the nation, but even Massachusetts itself
Exactly.
at that panel. Now, who's attending that?
Okay, no, so there's a legislative
The
panel
legislative
in the
one,
morning.
yeah.
And Senator McGee's confirmed for that. Senator Dorsina Forey's confirmed for that. We also have Dr. Ogletree will be offering some comments for that.
Okay.
And former U.S. Secretary Rodney Slater will be moderating that panel. And we've got sort of cross sections. We have the Department of Education. The General Counsel will also be on that panel. And some folks from USDOT are also going to be part of that panel and the other panels that we have. So a lot of things, we have the opening session with the mayor and secretary and Pollock, and also USDOT Secretary Fox. It's pretty impressive lineup that we have on
Right,
Monday.
it would be remiss. I mean, we are here to kind of boast and showcase Boston and showcase we are the first transit authority in the country. We're diverse and we have a lot of culture and a lot of history.
Right, and we're
So
multimodalism, which is also fantastic, and we have a wonderful harbor that folks will be able to come and take the cruise and really see, look at all the development that's happening at the harbor, the seaport. So I think that'll be great to showcase the city and so the beautiful ocean side that we have. So.
No, exactly, and I feel that I don't know if they have any downtime, but Boston Harbor Cruises has service to the islands
Yeah.
You know, the Five Islands and the service to Hingham. There's a lot of little things that people could take advantage of.
Absolutely.
But most importantly, I think it's about the educational part of it, and I think the program is really, really tight and focuses on what people do need.
Right.
As you said, businesses to succeed, equal playing field, just tips on how to not only promote yourself, but just be part of and be offered transportation opportunities.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
It's
there's hope
training.
there.
I mean, training is really important, as we know. So that's what you're going to get from this conference. And as you mentioned, the best practices that are being developed across the country. That's also part of what we'll be having those conversations about to share with each other, which is always really important.
Now, that begins, so Friday and ends Tuesday
Yes.
afternoon?
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday
Yeah.
night. So it's really, the key day is Saturday, is the really kickoff day, signature day at Harvard University, which we're really thrilled about.
Yeah, that'll be a big hit. Now, if someone just wanted to review the schedule, they go to compto.org and
Yes.
Yes, the schedule is up on compto.org, yeah. And just to go back to Harvard, this is, I think, the first time that Compto National is doing such a signature day. And it's something that we've talked about, them continuing in future years and doing a follow-up and,
Exactly.
you know, sort of continuing that on. So it's something unique that we brought to the table.
That's great.
So we're ready to wrap up. Thanks for coming. I think it was just good to just let the public know that the conference is here this weekend. I think Boston is like the great place to have it, and I think that hosting this conference is an achievement, and I think you both did a great job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for your help.
Is there anything you'd like to share, I mean, regarding the conference?
Just that, we hope that people will really check us out. We also have the golf tournament at cometoboston.org that you can register. Still open, and it's for a good cause. So we hope that if there's golfers out there that want to participate, that's a way of being able to do that. And
No, that's a good point. If there are
yeah.
businesses out there that maybe didn't realize this is happening and they want to do some networking, go to compto.org, come to, maybe the golf tournament, or pick a session. And you could pay individually
Absolutely.
to be
Exactly.
part of a session
Yep.
that may be of interest.
And we also have over 100 people who volunteer to help us with the conference. And so just like to say thank you to all of the folks in transportation and people in the area who heard about the Compto conference and wanted to participate.
Right.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You're right, because they're local.
Yeah.
Yes,
So we're
they
thanking
are.
them for
Yeah.
giving their time for free
Yep.
Yep,
and
definitely.
participating. Thanks so much. All right, so and thank you to our viewers for joining us today on Building Boston Beyond. Tune in monthly to get an update on what's going on in your community and beyond.